at AIM. So we have a webinar of about 1 hour where I will introduce you to the program, tell you about all the things that we have to offer, the structure, how it goes, what is AIM, and overall general presentation about what we do and who we are. Now, just a few housekeeping points. If you are in the webinar, I would please ask you if you could put your mute button and also turn off your camera. If you have any questions, however, please do not hesitate to just write them down in the chat, and then our team will be answering it directly, or we'll take a Q&A session at the end where we'll answer all the different of questions. So again, it's Bangkok here, 5 o'clock. I know you're coming from all different places around the world. It's really our pleasure to welcome you here and to talk to you a bit more about AIM and our programs. So let's introduce myself. So I'm Chris. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of AIM and Minor Education. And I am actually I'm an hotelier. So I graduated from hotel school back in the time. I worked in Thailand for 5 years and Singapore for a year in hotels. And then after that, I went back to Switzerland. And in Switzerland, I turned my career into education. So for the last 18 years, I've been working in education. I've been doing teaching really all different courses that can be taught, from F&B management and accounting and so on. And then at the end, I went back to work for EHL, where I'm a graduate from, and then working more for the business side of things of developing schools. And back in 22, I joined a minor and running now AIHM or AIM. So pleasure to meet you all. So AIHM, Asian Institute of Hospitality and Management, or AIM, it's easier to pronounce, and that's what we prefer to go with. And then we have a mantra at AIM is that we want to aim higher. So aim higher, whether it's our students, whether it's our team members, whether it's our faculty or everybody that works with AIM, we always remind them that everything is about aiming higher. What does it mean? So it means that as we aim higher, we have aspiration to do well. It shows that we're ambitious. We do our best in terms of quality. We always strive to do better and to improve. We also want to create a strong community of leaders, strong community of students, not just responsible for what's happening here on the school, but also across the community where we live and where our students work, and eventually really nurturing the leaders of tomorrow. And that's eventually really why the school has been founded initially. So why AIM? So why AIM is a great place for you and why we should deliver. So just to introduce you to the Institute first, and then I will go into the details of the program. So we offer at AIM programs in English. We propose programs in hospitality in academic association with Les Roches. So Les Roches being the #2 school according to the QS ranking in the world. We've been very proud to be working in academic association with them since the founding of AIM. We are located in Bangkok within the Anantara and the Avani Plus Riverside. We started the program first with a bachelor degree, and now we have increased the program. We have done more with the program now, offering a certificate as well as the PGD. And also working together with Les Roches, we offer the potential for all our students to actually transfer to Les Roches and also gather a Les Roches degree. Our campus is all English spoken, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's a learning material, whether it's even on campus itself. We have across 200 students on the program, and we are now touching around 18 to 19 different nationalities, and this actual numbers of nationalities keep on growing up as well. So we're a true international cosmopolitan organization and school. We are owned by Minor. One of the reasons why Minor started doing the school was really to see how we can build the next generation of managers for the company, and really focusing on growing the managers of indigenous from every location to be able to grow. So whereby before you needed to go to Switzerland and to study on a high level to be able to pay high fees to graduate here, now you can do the same and the same quality here in Switzerland. So also the fact that we're working with Minor and that we own by Minor means that all team members and students who graduate with us also have a preferred employment status as well. And then we are working very closely as well with Minor. So you might recognize Craig, who is our CPO for Minor Hotels, as well as Michael, who has just transferred now to Anantara de Palm. He was a GM of the Anantara Riverside here and very often integrated and spoke to our students, which is, again, something very unique that we can offer compared to so many hotel schools across the world. We also believe in a very dynamic learning style. So we are a school, or we are an institute that believe in what we call student-centric learning, which means that it's all about our students. It's all about growing our students. It's all about preparing well-rounded adults that will enter professional life. It's also belief about growing people within adult life and keep on giving them the skills and the knowledge for them then to be able to grow in their role in the companies. And for that, we strongly believe that it's not just about having teachers delivering the theory, because today you can do that just by watching YouTube. You can do that by reading books. You can do that by using AI and ChatGPT. The knowledge is available really everywhere. And it's never been cheaper and easier to get access to knowledge and explanation. All right, ask ChatGPT, ask him a questions about anything. It most probably will give me a better answer. It will give you a better answer than I can. Now, what is the reasons why it is still important to come to institution like ours to study and get degrees? It's not just to get the explanation, but it's to get the coaching, to get the feedback, to get the interaction, and to get what we call the active learning. So if you study with us, it's not just about listening to a teacher, but it's really about putting everything that you learn into actions. So typically for revenue management, we use simulation exercises on the computers. Teaching accounting for our bachelor students, typically we use, for example, Monopoly for them to learn about buying and actions and transaction and so on. When it comes to management courses and marketing, we use case studies and discussions. So typically learning in our institution always means learning dynamically, always in action, and really kind of focusing and getting coaching and feedback in order to keep on growing. It's all about, I always say to everybody at an institution, it's all about the students. It's not about us as the teachers. We are here to support students successful. And as mentioned before, so we are a very cosmopolitan community located in Bangkok. We have 18 different nationalities. We think we're going to reach 20 nationalities, if not 22 nationalities. We have students from Thailand, from Myanmar, from the Maldives, from India. Students now also coming all the way from South Korea, Kazakhstan, and even students from Europe who actually transferred all the way from Europe to want to study here in Bangkok. And for people living in Bangkok, one, of course, of the great advantage of Bangkok, not only is it a fantastic city to be in and to live in, but it's also a great place to study. It's very affordable. And then all the major five stars are here. All the greatest concepts are available here as well. So when you're not only studying in the classroom, we always say students a great place to go and study and see what is happening outside. Now, let's talk to you specifically about our academic association with Les Roches. So since the beginning of the school, we've been working together very closely. For us, it's all about bringing the Swiss quality, the Swiss reputation, the Swiss educational philosophy here in Asia, and to blend it together with Thai hospitality sense. Thai hospitality sense is very unique. I think it is one of the countries where typically you're always being felt welcome. We always call it the land of smile for reasons. So it's all of us. It's about combining the best of Thailand with the best of Switzerland together to really give a high level quality education. So what it means is two different things. So first of all, the curriculum that we're running, whether it's the BBA or whether it's the PGD, are completely certified by Les Roches. So when it comes to the PGD, for example, the courses that we'll be teaching are exactly the same that are being taught in Switzerland. So in terms of learning outcomes, in terms of the syllabus, in terms of the assessment, these are exactly the same of what would happen if you were to study in Switzerland or in Spain. For the BBA, the same thing. So the courses are the same, the structure of the courses are the same. We're really following the same logic and the same idea. Now, the only difference is for teachers, what we want is also we want to adapt it to the local needs, and we want to adapt it also to the knowledge of the teacher. So it's not about It's not about the teachers knowing about the concept and just repeating. It's all about the teacher adapting to his class or her class, and to adapting to what the person knows and what works best for that particular group. So the teaching methods and the methodology, that is really AIM, trained by Les Roches and supported by Les Roches and approved by Les Roches, but it's doing it our own AIM way. And to guarantee that this is done with quality, so Les Roches comes every year to visit us. They do a yearly quality audit. Here, for example, in the pictures, the latest audit, Ms. Ivana Nobilo and Mr. Carlos, the CEO and the dean, have visited us this year, and every year they give us the feedback, and it's been 4 years in a row, and they will always been very happy in terms of the way we treat the program and the quality that we run and everything going through, whether it's from an academic quality standpoint, but also in the way we look at our student. And it's thanks trust and the hard work we've been doing for 4 to 5 years, that now they've approved this year that we can launch the postgrad diploma. So very proud of that, and very happy also to be able to offer the postgraduate here today. So just wanted to show you also the different programs that we offer in academic association with Les Roches. So the main program that we've been running now for 5 years is our Bachelor of Business Administration in Global Hospitality Management. It's a 7 semester, 3.5 years program. We've been running it since 2020, and we had our first graduate last year with our first cohort graduating with 5 students, and then also the second group of graduates who graduated this year with around 10 students. And then we keep on growing. A picture here is of Nimi. Nimi is a student who decided to transfer to Les Roches. She went to Switzerland for a final year of study and ended up as a valedictorian, the best over cohort over there in Switzerland. So, and now she currently is coming back to the company, and she's working as a management trainee directly in the corporate office, working on fantastic projects such as building the new kind of service culture within the Anantara together with Brie and Angela, the people at the corporate office. So doing a fantastic job, great ambassador for us. Now we also offer what we call a Certificate in International Hotel Administration, or CIHA. This is a program that we've been offering as well for now 3 years. And this is a 3-semester program, 1 year in Bangkok, followed by either an internship or by a work-based project if people are being sponsored by companies. At the moment, we have had around 40 students studying this certificate program. Some of them come from minor, sponsored by minor hotels, and then we have some students who came independently. So this is Sira, part of our second cohort of CIHA students. I like to show him as our success story as well. That he was a duty manager at the Anantara Siam, came to study with us, then was promoted when he came back to be an assistant front office manager, and now he's working at Anantara Boput in Koh Samui as a front office manager. Again, everybody who met him or met people that study with us, that these people have been changed in terms of their confidence, in the way they present themselves, in the way they can do the work, and the way, most importantly, that they have a really holistic understanding of the hotel operations, because the program, the certificate really gives them that. It's still a very practically focused course where students in the first semester have to really understand all the aspects of hotel operation. So certificate students would be working at the front desk, would be doing kitchen, service, housekeeping, really like all our bachelor students, in order to really understand kind of all hotel operation works, and then together sprinkled with a little bit of academic studies on top. And then finally, we have the postgraduate diploma in international hospitality management. So this is a 2-semester program delivered in Bangkok, and I'll talk more about it. That is targeted for people who are more in terms of aspiring head of department meeting or head of department or more. I want to develop their courses and acquire a master. Let me talk about it now. So postgraduate diploma in international hospitality management. So as just mentioned, we've got the agreement together with Les Roches, and this is the program that we're launching this fall. So what is it about? So it's about really upskilling your leadership skills, about your knowledge and your general management knowledge together. It is flexible development for HOD level talent Or I would even say an assistant HOD level would work, or even someone above, someone that really wants to bring their career forward and discover more. It is delivered by us, AIM, and it's in academic association with Les Roches, following exactly the same structure of what is being done in Switzerland. So the same courses, the same module, the same assessment, just the delivery, what the teacher does and the exercises, that is delivered really purely by us, as well as the assessment itself is also done by us. But again, through the quality process that we go through every year, then typically what happens is that the Les Roches will guarantee the quality of what we do. And then it is really an investment in your team, looking at really retaining the best performers. Here I'm speaking to PNC leaders if they want to think about keeping their leaders and offering them a chance to grow. And it's also what is also very important is we will be offering that degree online. So if people are not able to travel to Bangkok to study, if people are not able to stop working because they need to support their families and support themselves, then typically the chance is that they can still study part-time and study online. So you don't need to travel and you don't need to stop working to keep on studying with us. So why does it work? So it is practical learning, as we said before. It is a learning that is practical, learning that is active, a learning that is very collaborative. So it's not just about listening to a teacher, giving you some theory or lecturer giving you some theory, but it's all about putting into application. It's integrated inside work, I mentioned that, and it's also affordable alternative to an MBA, because thanks to the postgraduate, you'd be able to also complete it with your master together directly in Switzerland as well. And then who are we looking for? Anybody who is more focusing on the strategic level. Again, head of department, assistant head of the department, head of sections, and then people will typically with a strong operational background, but people who want to develop more their strategic mindset and their strategic thinking, and with a really holistic strategic mindset of what it means to run in hospitality. So not just hotels, but hospitality as a whole. So for this program, we are willing to offer it into 3 different learning paths. So on one hand, we are looking at delivering on campus together with our students in a very similar way. So in class, so 6 months on campus full time, and then followed by a 6-month internship. Or if students want to go on to a project, an internship if they're not employed, or if they're employed and it took a pause of study and they go back to their property or back to their company, then they'll be working on a project, work-based project as well. So that would be both good for them in terms of work, but also good for typically the property they're working for. Then we also are looking at offering a part-time study for people who are mostly located in Bangkok or people who are willing to relocate in Bangkok. And then it will be a full year work, looking at Saturdays, Friday evening, Saturday study, and then actually followed by a work-based project as well while you're working. So it's still that idea of doing a project directly onto your workplace. And finally, we have an online study. So it's a full year online. I'll come into the details as well with a work-based project. And then typically you don't need to leave your location and you don't need to stop working. You can do it online. But when we talk about online, it's really having and meeting a teacher onto an MS Teams or a Zoom and going through exercises in class in a very similar way that you would do if you were coming in person. And supplemented by also some pre-learning and post-learning and homework that you would work individually as well. So let me talk today about the online study format, because I think this is what mostly interests most of you. So we'll be starting the course, the PGD, in October of 2025, and it will be broken down into 4 different parts. So 4 different parts with 4 blocks, and each block 2 different courses. So you'll be starting with 2 courses in October, from October to December. What you need to look at It's 2 courses delivered during a block, which means 6 contact hours per week. So 6 hours connected online in terms of doing the actual live classes or the virtual class together directly with our lecturer. And that is for 2 months. Then this is followed in January for another block with another 2 courses. So I'll tell you the course after, revenue management strategy and so on. And then finally, there's a third block with the last 2 courses of study and also the 6 hours. Now, as in April, you start your next 2 courses, then you have what we call the work-based project that starts as hopefully, or normally you should be employed. So as 6 months after the project, you have your work-based project. So synchronously, as you start the third block, you should be starting thinking and working on your work-based project, for which you have a 6 months to work on until the delivery by the end of the semester in October. And that really covers your entire study year. Now, in between, there is an important aspect to it, which is the business field trip. So this is 1 week where all the class will meet up again. Typically, what we have planned so far is to go to Phuket in Thailand. Now, depending on the making of the class, if most of the students, for example, are from around Middle East, then we can definitely do the field trip over there. This is something that we'll be deciding depending again of where the students are coming from. But it's a 1 week visiting hotels, going to speak to leaders, doing back of the house, understanding the business and really putting whatever has been learned before into application, and also something that could be useful for the work-based project as well. So that's the entire. So 6 hours of contact hours per week. This is the requirement in terms of being present in class. And you can expect to be working a similar amount of hours for that week on an independent study. So independent study might be asking you to watch some videos of further explanation, doing some extra reading, working on the assignment, working and talking on chat as well with the professors, or collaborative learning to chat and forum on the learning management system. So all this type of kind of learning that will happen on your own independently and individually. So very question that everybody asks of us is, okay, what am I going to learn? So 6 different courses, depending on each block. So the name of the blocks is not according to where they will come into the block. That will be arranged a little bit later, but the courses are fixed. It's the same, the one that are being taught in Europe, at Les Roches. And it's about hospitality, finance, and performance management. So it's all about looking at kind of a high-level management information. It's not about making you accountants, but it's all about being able to read P&Ls, cash flows, balance sheet, being able to calculate the ratios, make decisions according to that, looking at investment, return on investment, and kind of all the key ratios, the key information, the key KPIs that every hotel managers should know about. And how are they calculated? What do they mean? And how do you move forward? Then we have revenue management. So revenue management, maybe some of you are revenue managers, maybe some of you don't have revenue management. So this is kind of targeted for really everybody. So it will give you a quick understanding of the core concept of revenue management, what it is, how it works, how pricing works, capacity, durations, all the key principles are there. And then you'll be putting into application in terms of case studies, and most importantly, be working together a simulation on the long term. So you'll be working through a simulation during the 3 months. You will be working in groups, you're making decisions according on rates that you want to set in terms of numbers of rooms you made available and so on. And then together you will be looking at how well your property is doing, the simulation property is doing, which you will then be presenting to your professor and explaining, okay, what did you do? And it's not so much about doing well on the simulation, but what matters is really understanding what decisions have been taken and how can we adjust those according to how well I performed and so on. Then we have a course that is services marketing in the digital age. So it will be focusing on both aspects. So typically hospitality, we are selling services. So what does it mean to sell services? How is that different from service products? Looking at how you do the marketing. And then of course, focusing on online, focusing on digital skills and digital the digital tools. So whether we want to talk about inbound marketing, we want to talk about social media, we want to talk about OTAs, and want to talk as well about the role of AI in terms of that. How do you look at your funnel, and you can narrow down the funnel from really creating awareness for your property all the way to gathering reservations. So looking at that over 2 months, a very active course, very exciting course overall. And then we have a course that is related to events. So how to create an event, how to plan an event, how to think about event concepts, look at your stakeholder needs, looking at customer needs, and then really looking at events from a broad perspective. And finally, the last 2 courses, so entrepreneurship and business modeling. So again, as Minor is a very entrepreneurial company, so I think it's a perfect fit. Looking at entrepreneurship in hospitality context. So what does it mean just to be an entrepreneur? Now means how does it mean to start a new business, and look at the different business models that exist. You could be looking at selling prices. You could be looking at subscription models, or what different types of business model you could be using, looking at different models that can help you with that in terms of support innovative thinking. We're looking at the business model Canva, for example, as well, to kind of better understanding like what is the value proposition that you want to offer, what is the opportunity in the market, and how can you become more entrepreneurial. And then it's the oldie concept of become an entrepreneur and to becoming an intrapreneur. So typically, it's like, how do you become an entrepreneur, but within your company? So what if typically you wanted to start a new business within Minor, or what you want to start a new business for your property, but within your property itself? What does it mean? What do you need to think about? Demand, investment, return on investment, and so on. So that's kind of all of that. Again, another very exciting course. And the last one, okay, this one I'm a bit biased because that's my favorite. That's the one I hopefully will be teaching, which is strategic management. So how to focus more in terms of a strategic thinking and strategic thought. Not you focusing, of course, on the day-to-day. You're focusing on the needs of your customers, the needs of your owners, the needs of your team members, making sure that everything runs well. But what does it mean for the next 3 years? What do you need for the next 5 years? What does it mean for the next 10 years? In terms of like looking at what changes in the environment, whether it's political. This period is very, very difficult political situation. So what does it mean for the business? What can you do for it? What about technology, and technology changing almost every 2 years, and things that happen that we don't know? Customer trends, what does customer trend means, and how do you need to adapt? So really focusing on different tools and different methods and that help you kind of better understand businesses and how to move forward and still being successful with that kind of strategic mindset. So these are the 6 courses, and then there will be the business field trips, again originally planned in Bangkok or in, depending on the making of the class. This will be decided on later, but the idea is to make you travel everybody. So you've met online, you chat online, you created a community online. Now we want you to meet and then to go around and visit some hospitality businesses wherever you're going. So typically going to visit hotels, go and visit restaurants, talk to chefs, talk to GMs, talk to VPs, engage in different presentations. So kind of a full-on meeting everyone, discovering some hotels and visiting some hospitality businesses, suppliers, and so on, to better understand what's happening, working on a project together, and to really kind of deepen your industry understanding through that field trip. And then after that, we also have the work-based project. So the work-based project is something that you work individually, independent learning. You decide on what project you want to run on, and then you will have to develop and implement kind of a proper research process, work together with the supervisor, and then after that, come up with a research for the business that you're proposing as well. So work-based project, my recommendation is to always select something that is really useful for you and useful for your work and where you want to go into the job. Now, all of you, if you're coming from hospitality, this doesn't apply to you. If you have hospitality experience, that is not there. But if you were to talk to your friends or you were to talk to other people that might be interested into going into hospitality, that PGD is also a very good step to kind of change your career accordingly. Now, because people coming from a non-hospitality field and coming to work for hospitality and studying hospitality, it's important that they come for a 1 month of hospitality immersion program, which this one needs to be on face-to-face, needs to be in Bangkok, needs to be on campus. And it's 1 month to kind of have an immersion of understanding what hospitality is all about. So going over the 4 key aspects of hotel operation, like I like to say, front office, concierge, housekeeping, F&B service, F&B kitchen, and having, of course, not make you waiters, not make you chefs or housekeepers, but having the understanding of that. If you work in hospitality already, that is not needed. But if someone would come out of hospitality to want to study that, then we would ask them to do this program as well as kind of a building foundation. All right, so that is the team. The team that will be teaching you. So that's me. Warren is the academic dean. Dr. Yut, Dr. Natasha are teaching on the bachelor at the moment. Corrado is our marketing expert, and Alison is our head of student engagement, focusing mostly on the research aspect of it as well. So that's together be looking at you. And then we are still looking at some other potential lecturers, specialist experts that could be intervening in the class or could be leading the class together. So typically we are negotiating and discussing with external experts for revenue management, for instance, and looking at others as well that could help you with your journey. So why this a great program? Again, is to really, the goal of everything we do at AIM, but mostly for this PGD, is we want to make sure that we apply your learning directly into the business. We want to grow your leadership skill. We want you to become the future manager of tomorrow, and then to really put into apply projects. Now, what is also important to understand is that this PGDE of 1 year, it is exactly the same as the PGD that is taught in Switzerland or in Spain at Les Roches. So the same 6 courses, the same journey, the visits and everything. And then in Switzerland, or in Spain, you can do an extra semester to get a Master of Advanced Study in hospitality management with what they call a specialization. It's an MAS. MAS you might have not heard before because it is a Swiss master. So in Switzerland, there is a very strong belief that you can build your career without necessarily having done higher education studies before. This means that you can be, you have maybe worked directly into industry, you've built your way up into a certain position, and then you realize that, oh, in order for me to go up the ladder and go a step above, I need to study a master. They help me study those advanced concepts. Then I maybe need to do a master. And that's what it means by having a Master of Advanced Studies. So it's the equivalent of an MBA, the equivalent of an MSc, or a Master of Arts. Is just the nomenclature is slightly different. So it's a Master of Advanced Studies in hospitality with a specialization. So if you go to Switzerland or to Spain, then what will happen is you would choose a specialization for finalizing your master. So 1 year in Bangkok, 6 months, 1 year online with us in Bangkok, and then followed by 6 months on campus in Europe to get your specialization and get your master. So there are 4 specializations available. So the first one in Switzerland, in Crans-Montana campus, it's food and beverage entrepreneurship and management. So again, mostly focusing on the F&B managers out there. People want to open their own restaurants, so all about creating concept, discussing concept, looking at F&B trends, and so on. So really focusing more on the F&B aspect. And then the other 3 specializations are in Spain. The first one is in marketing management in luxury tourism. So really focusing on that aspect of luxury, which is one of the very strong aspects and specialization and expertise, I would say, of the Spain campus. And that also Spain campus is in Marbella, so on the nice place of Spain, on an island as well. And what that could be very interesting for the region is a specialization in golf management. So learn how to better learn to manage a golf course, memberships, what does it mean for that, and focusing on that aspect there. And lastly, it's also focusing on cruise line management. So looking at cruise line becoming more and more trendy, more and more interesting. So typically, this could also be a great specialization to be in terms of changing career and wanting to work in cruise line as well. So these are the 4 specializations. So again, if you do the course online, it's 1 year online with us. And then after that, one 6-month specialization in Europe, Spain or Switzerland to get your master. Now the master is in person. I know some people might ask the question. So the master is in person. It is campus, it's part of the experience. I cannot guarantee at the moment whether Les Roches would open an online class, but again, if I'm able to open a class large enough to do that online with us in Bangkok, then I will be discussing with them whether the online option will also be possible together with them. This is not something I can guarantee at the moment, but if it is a desire and we have enough people interested to do that, there's a possibility that it could happen as well. But again, to be decided later. So overall question, so the tuition fee is of 380,000 baht per person for the full year. This is purely tuition fee, doesn't apply for the field trip as well as the immersion program if you want to do that. It's around $11,000 for the full year of study, which is approximately half of the price that most masters would have if you were to Australia, to the US, to Switzerland, and so on. And it's about the same price as competitive pricing across the region. Divided in 2 different months, so we have around $8,000 for semester 1 and then $3,000 for semester 2. The additional expenses do not apply if you are studying online. This apply if you are a non-Thai resident or a non-Thai passport resident and you were coming to here. It's all about visa expenses to help you get the education visa for you to be coming here. If you are working in Thailand and you already have a visa and work, then of course that does not apply. To be discussed on the case basis, but that's overall the price of the program. Entry requirement. So we are looking at a minimum age of 21 years old. A bachelor degree is recommended, but it's not mandatory, which is a good news. It's if you didn't do your higher education, you are welcome to study with us as well. If you have a bachelor degree, we would ask for a minimum of 2 years of experience. And then if you have not a degree, we'd ask for a minimum of 5 years of experience. Now, depending on everyone's background, what I would require is a CV with all your achievements and your position and so on to look in terms of what type of experience you had, whether you meet the requirement to be able to study for the master. But again, I think what is 2 good news about this entry requirement is 1, nobody in the classroom will come up with never having worked. So anybody who comes in here, I must have worked for 2 years, so at least they can share their experience. And again, if you have 5 years, the goal of master's postgraduate studies is, compared to a bachelor, is you have work experience, you worked before, and you want to be able to share that experience with the rest of the class. And then in terms of the overall, we're looking for an IELTS of 6. And depending on the type of lookings, it's typically we were looking for a grade A for a Cambridge exam of 215 for Duolingo. So of course we want people to be fluent in English to be able to study on that program. All right, so that was the overall idea of talking about the PGD. So it's all about building the future leadership skills. We have flexible enrollment options. Again, you can study online, you can study in person, you can study in person part-time, again, depending on the demand that we have. World-class learning, a degree that is completely matched with what is done in Switzerland and in Spain with Les Roches. And again, also very important with that progression to Les Roches to actually obtain your master and then become a Les Roches alumni and all the advantages that, of course, that entails as well. So if you want to know more about AIHM or want to know more about AIM, so I want just to let you know that we have a blog. We post about twice a week. We talk about different concepts. We talk about, typically the latest blog post is one of mine, talking about what is this master study and what it means for AIM and what it means for the course. We're talking about courses we deliver. We talk about expert pieces on hospitality, on the services industry in general. We talk about education as well. We talk about some success stories that we have in AIM. We spend a lot of time, so it gives a little bit more understanding of who we are, what we do, and what is great. So you can scan the QR code and you can go to our blog. Typically, if you want to know more about us as well, you can follow us on our different social media. My recommendation is maybe look at Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to know more about our students' life on campus, then you can go on Instagram and TikTok. As the content is actually more managed by our students. So it tells you a little bit more about what students' life is happening. On YouTube, we have testimonials. We have a lot of different types of information. And then if from Thailand, you can also come onto our line and ask questions directly to our team as well. So get in touch. Kun in Thai, or Wanlapa, for a full name, is our business development manager, and she'll be answering all the different questions. So your phone number here, or you can write her directly onto our executive email address, and she will answer any questions that you might have in order to want to progress into studying the PGD. All right. Thank you very much for paying attention to me. And now it's time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and just share them into the chat. And I'll be happy to answer everything. So the national, okay, very good question. So what is the extra cost for studying in national semester at Les Roches? The extra cost is 25,000, depending where you go. So if you go to Spain, the tuition fee is around 20,000 Swiss francs, euros, sorry. And then if you go to Switzerland, it's around 24,000 Swiss francs to study there. Now, the good news is that thanks to our academic association, anybody that wants to do the extra semester in Switzerland or in Spain will get also a 25% discount on the tuition fee. So that means that if you are 20, that means 15. So it's also part of the advantage of our students to go study in Switzerland to get their master. Thank you for the question. So I had some questions that were asked for us before. All right. So typically, it will, Ivana, thank you very much for the question. It's a great one. I think it will depend a lot on the makeup of the class. Typically, looking at where the students are located, I would aim for the afternoon in Thailand, so end of day of Thailand, which would mean around morning in Europe and mid of day in the Middle East, to match for those 2 hours, and then end of afternoon, early evening for Asia. Great question. Thank you so much. So we had some questions while waiting for the chat. So I received some questions before from the webinar from people who were registered. So I'm employed as a sous chef. Yes, they are scholarship opportunities as well. Yes, so there are scholarship available for Switzerland for the students who will come for the very first intake. So if you want to do that, so there is a scholarship offered by Les Roches for the best students of our cohort. So anybody who comes in and performs best of the class will actually get a free study in Switzerland or Spain. So we have a question that I had. So employed as a sous chef, do I qualify for the program as I'm interested? Yes. So yes, as a sous chef, you do qualify. You worked in operations, you had a management role, you did that more than 5 years, and that will be, that person will be definitely qualified to come. So anybody can come. And of course, the question was, can I share the webinar to the team? Yes, of course. It will be recorded. It will be on our YouTube page. It will be available on our website. So anybody can watch it and again, ask any questions. The costs I've mentioned, benefit qualification I mentioned. So the question was, can it be done at our own pace or needs presence? So presence needs to be online. So payment arrangements can be done. And now payment arrangements can be done directly with us from you to AIM, and then we'll make arrangements for you to be there. If you want to look at pricing arrangements together with your PNC department, then that's a typical discussion that you need to have with your property. But yes, we can definitely find a solution as well that you don't have to pay everything into one full payment. Welcome. So last question, sorry, last questions from Ivana. Do we need prior approval from our property to apply and engage in the program? I would say no. If you study online and you study on your own time, my only not even a requirement, but I would ask for recommendation. If you engage in the program on your own, it's just that to inform the management that you're doing it and that you need to be available to study at some certain time. Of course, the class will be recorded so that you always can come back and listen back. You can listen to it. However, you need to make sure to be available for the class. That's the only reason. So for the properties to understand that you're doing extra studies and you might need extra time for you to do that. So Abdullah, I'm a part management. I have work experience of 12 years and need for a bachelor degree. So you don't need a bachelor degree with 12 years of experience to do this postgraduate. So that's the good news. So again, because it's a Swiss master, the Swiss master looks at experience more than actually a higher education study. So typically, if you're studying with us, we will be working everything that we will build your study skills in order to be also successful. But you don't need to have a bachelor. You can apply directly. So I think I answered all the questions there. So DD, yes. The goal of the PGD is to transition into a career in hospitality, definitely. I've seen great success of people enrolling in PGDs in other schools where I worked before. We did a PGD, then an internship, and then transition into hospitality. And then together with minor, with our preferred employment status, we would guarantee you at least an interview to make sure that you would have an employment opportunity within the company. And then it would be up to you, depending on your options and your what you want to actually work in the hotels. But yes, definitely, I think it's a great choice of doing a program like that to go into hospitality. Online will be during the week. Thank you, Kuntip. Again, at the moment, I can't really say. Again, because we have 6 hours of study per week, typically be looking at doing 3 times 2 hours. We have not done the exact detail of the class, depending on the makeup of the class, but typically the online will be taught during the week, end of day, Thai time. Welcome, of course. Thank you for the questions. Of course, Abdullah, my pleasure. All right. So if there is no more questions, thank you very much for coming and participating to this webinar. I hope I've answered your questions. Again, we're completely available. If you want to go on a one-on-one call with me to discuss that a bit further, I'm more happy to do it. And then answer all the different types of questions that you might have. And in the meantime, I wish you a lovely day, lovely evening, and hopefully be able to talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone. I wish you a great end of day, good continuation of the week, and speak to you soon, hopefully. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, everyone.